Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tea and Talks. I'm Danny Caputo, yoga and movement practitioner, and this is the wonderful Rachel Campbell, who is joining us from Sacred Naturopathy. I can't say that very well.
Yeah, no one can. It's all good.
So Rach and I met, I reckon you were about 16?
I was
15?
13.
No.
I was a baby. I was 13. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Years
So,
ago.
yeah, years ago, Rachel came along to yoga because she was struggling with some health concerns. And you know what? You were always mature. So when you were 13, I was thinking you were 15. Yeah. So just maybe tell us a little bit about your journey and how it led you to come to being a naturopath.
I'm trying to do the abbreviated version. So it probably actually started around, well, it probably started more like when I was 4, to be quite honest with you. I had like terrible anxiety when I was 4, like chronic anxiety attacks. And you go to various different psychologists and you try lots of different things. And along the way, my very determined mother decided, nope, that's it. We're going to go the natural route. And that seemed to help a bit as well. And then, the normal stuff with kids, you get tonsillitis, you get ear infections, but this was all the time, which meant that I was on like a lot of antibiotics, and then my gut health didn't go quite so well with that. And then enter teenage years and all these hormones going around. And then you also enter in Ross River fever, or like mono. And it all kind of started from there. So 13, I started kind of going through a massive health crisis or health change, where doctors just kind of didn't know what to do with me. So they kind of put me in the too hard basket of, I don't know what this is. You will now have chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia and PCOS and depression, anxiety, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, went to natural medicine from there and kind of built myself back up, and then kind of got to a point where I'm like, right, well, what do I want to do? And I developed a really strong passion for helping people. I always knew I wanted to help people, but natural medicine just kind of fit the bill, and I fell in love with it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. I think it's really powerful when you speak to somebody who has kind of walked that path, those people who've got, chronic illness or autoimmune stuff going on. I'm sure there's a certain level of compassion that you have for them because you've been there. You've felt what it's like to not be able to get out of bed, not be able to move, not be able to function.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, honestly, I really didn't see the depth of that until I worked for a friend of mine who had a really significant, she has POTS, amongst other things. And I did not, okay, Jet, I'm live on a call, take you and the dog, and stop singing to him. Close the door if you're going to sing to him. I really didn't see how much impact that took on someone. I guess you can't really unless you maybe had a family member or, I have such respect for those people who are going through that. Hi, Sparky. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. It can be quite an isolating journey as well, because even your family members that are going through it with you and trying to do their best to support you, they don't understand. They can't understand what you're going through. The only other people that understand that are those going through it. And I do remember, like, when I was going through it, it was a bit more of a taboo topic than it is now. There wasn't as much awareness around chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. It was kind of like, well, here's some antidepressants, here's some anti-anxiety and anti-pain medication, enjoy your life. And there wasn't really much of a community for people like me going through that. It was like you hear whispers about it, but no one ever connects you with anybody else. So for me, I guess going through and finding those people really made a big difference. And that was probably actually where the study came in, because, everyone that goes into natural health has got a story. Everyone's got some underlying health condition that they're really passionate about because of their experience and because of how natural medicine has helped them heal themselves as well. So it's a really awesome space to be in, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So I wanted to see what if you were going to give, if people, I like to give people like bite-sized chunks of information sometimes, or
Yeah.
things to do, because we just live in an information world, and people get like, oh my God, no, it's too hard, I can't do it. Like, and what my mum would say, throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
But what I like, a couple of things, maybe 3 things that people can just start weaving into their everyday routine to help them, and especially women, with their general health. What would be your sort of top 3 things?
Oh, this is really timely because I am just focusing on those sorts of things myself, because I am human and we all kind of slip back on the bandwagon, fall back into hard habits when, life gets busy. So the 3 things that I personally am focusing on at the moment is drinking more water. It's
Yeah.
so underrated. Like, it's a basic thing. Everyone's like, yeah, I know I should drink more water. But no, like, this is an actual thing. If you're not, like, it's an actual thing. Like, we need to be doing this more. And everyone's like, oh, but I just pee so much. I don't keep the water in, and yes, that is also a thing too, but your body's got to adjust to the increase in hydration that you're trying to give it. So for me, aiming to drink, I'm 5'2", like I'm just pocket size. And I need to be drinking about 2 liters of water a day.
Yeah.
So, and that's without any extra for physical exercise or drinking tea or coffee or any caffeinated stuff. So for me, like, I'll put a pinch of Himalayan sea salt in my water or electrolytes, and that will actually help you absorb the water. So if you're struggling and you're like, right, I'm not going to do the exercise, I'm not going to do the diet change, just do the water. Like, focus on that and just see how you feel. It's awesome. Like, headaches, mental clarity, energy, gut health, all sorts of stuff starts changing from that. So that's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, sugar. Like, really reduce down the sugar. It creeps in so easily. And I don't know if you've seen this as well, Danny, like, when life starts getting a little bit busy, you start going more for the packet foods or just the easy convenience stuff. And you're like, oh, this is healthy, this is fine. And then you turn the sugar around and it's got 10 grams of sugar per serve. And you're like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Suddenly,
it's huge.
sugar cravings.
You'd be so proud of me. I am 6 weeks in on a complete no sugar, no gluten, and no dairy, because I'm doing a specific program. But and I cannot believe that I haven't craved sugar. Yesterday was a hard day, for some reason, but I was like, wow. For lots of other reasons, like I upped my protein and have done some other things, but have managed to, I honestly thought that was going to be my hardest thing. And because, I would rely on sugar at the end of the day just to get me through that last part of the evening where I've got to, clean up the kitchen or do some work for school, or just rely on that extra bump. But what I'm learning at the moment is getting up earlier, exercising, and eating more protein and drinking water. I'm a different person, and reducing my stress. Going, no, I need to do some meditation. I was relying on my sugar for my dopamine, but I don't know if it releases dopamine. Does it release dopamine?
It releases like the feel good hormones. It's serotonin, I think, from memory. But on that, I think it's serotonin. But
yeah, that's the one. So and now I'm just sort of retraining my brain, I guess, to what can I have instead? Like, all right, I'm going to have a herbal tea. I'm going to nourish myself with this warm cup of tea, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to stop. So sugar is, and I went through my cupboards, Rachel, and I was like, I'm fine. And then I started looking at the things, and so many things had crept in.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, additives, and that's a whole other thing. But
well,
sugar.
you look at numbers, it's like, oh God, here we go. Like, what, like, there's so many different things, and I guess this is where people can get like caught as well. Is like they go, but there's so many things, like I can't store things in plastic, and I've got to do no additives, and I've got everything from scratch, and it's got to be organic, and it's got to be from the farmers market, and all this stuff. But like, if you just start with the basics, that will help you get to where you want to go, because you can't get to where you want to go if you've got no energy and your brain's not working right. You know, like you're making it harder for yourself if you're trying to go from 0 to 100. So, you know, these baby steps are super important for like sustainability, because so often I'll see in clinic, like you've got someone that's like super energetic, super passionate about this, like, yep, I'm dedicated, I want to do all these things. And, you know, they last 2 weeks because they're trying to do everything all at once. So it's super important to do these foundational basics, like in your baby steps. Like, as you said, with gluten, dairy, and sugar, like, and you're already feeling like so much better. You know, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Sort of
the inflammation, like it was all coming around, like here, I mean, all through my body. And I was looking at myself thinking, I just don't know what's going on there. And obviously I'm perimenopausal, so I'm, you know, that's part of all of this juggle of the hormones. But I just, so much inflammation has reduced just over the 6 weeks. So, I totally understand what you're saying about that. And it's so hard when people are unwell, like just decision fatigue, just making choices about things or working out what to focus on. And I think that you can't, some people can, some crazy people can do it alone, but we need people to support us. We need, you know, people like you, practitioners. We need coaches, we need yoga teachers, we need masseuses, whatever it is that you just can't, you're not meant to do it. We're not meant to do it alone. We're meant to do it with a community in a village.
Exactly. And this is the thing, like, I don't treat myself. Like, I absolutely refuse. Everyone's like, what do you mean? Why? You're trained, you're not very good. Like, why are you not treating yourself? But for me, it's like, if you're in it, you can't get the perspective that you need. You can't get someone else actually looking at the whole picture, because you're so biased about what you think the problem is that you might completely ignore this really obvious thing that's looking right in the face, because you're like, no, I've dealt with that. So I just think it's like, it's never ever a bad idea to reach out and talk to somebody. Like, there doesn't need to be a commitment to it. It can just be like, hey, where's my blind spot? You know, what am I missing here? You know, it might be something basic like, well, have you drunk your water today? You know, I'll often do that to my partner. He'll come home and he's like, oh, headache, I feel shit. I'm really tired. I'm like, how much water have you drunk? He's like, oh, maybe a glass. I'm like, well, let me know how you're going in an hour's time. So it's basic stuff like that. It's your basics. So water, sugar, you know, that one there can take a little bit of time and, you know, a bit bumpier than the water one generally, but I would really recommend people even just cutting it down. Like, you don't have to get rid of it completely initially. That is what I would try and recommend you do, because you're going to see the best like improvement in your symptoms. But even just reducing it down and doing it baby steps, like listening to your body and knowing how you work, is so important in this process as well. Because you know, if you're trying to follow someone else's diet that works for them, but maybe it doesn't work for you, you're setting yourself up for failure. So that one's a really important thing as well, I think.
100%. I did. You have these moments. I had this moment at the beginning of the year. It was January, and I was like, right, I'm gonna. I don't know. I went on this horrible thing, this shred thing. Oh my god, the food. It was like one day I was supposed to eat like Campbell's tin soup and something else, and that was my breaking point. I went, I don't eat tin soup. Like, if I'm gonna eat soup, I'm gonna make it. And my guts were all messed up because of maybe the type of protein that it was. I'm eating a lot of protein now, and it's not upsetting me because I'm eating like a healthy balance of things. I was like, oh, this is so bad. And I thought, now I'm learning about me, my body, what I need, which is completely different to somebody else. It just makes no sense. It's just a way of making money, of like, oh, I remember my mum, the grapefruit diet, when all she ate was grapefruits. It's like, that is horrible.
It's just not interesting to me. I'm like, I like food. Like, I don't want to give up food. Why would I do that? You know, I hear you though, like, it's often that the only way to kind of understand what works for you, what doesn't work for you is by trying these things. But, you know, sometimes if you have someone who's kind of been through that, like, as I'm sure you've found in your practice, you know, of people going well, you know, I'm just going to give yoga a really red hot crack and do all the poses, and then suddenly they pull something and something's not working right for them. You know, if they've got you there guiding them, going, okay, well, this looks like it's a little not right for you. What about if we try this? And then suddenly something clicks and it works better for them, and they're more likely to do it consistently because it's tailored for them. You know, it can make the biggest difference. It's amazing. Yeah.
And we are such, although, you know, I contradict myself now and say, well, we need support, but we're also our best. We know, you know, you hear those stories about people who say, oh, I went to the doctor and I was telling them something and they weren't really listening to what it was that I said, but I knew that there was something wrong. I could just really urge people to, like, keep looking until you find that person that you know that you click with. And if you know that there is something not right, something shifted in your body, you know your body. No one's going to come to you, like no one was going to come to me and say, you know what, Danny, I think you've got a lot of inflammation going on. I think you need to do something about it. No one's going to do that for me. We have to do these things for ourselves. I mean, unless you've got, you know, maybe a naturopath as a partner going, no.
I literally had that conversation with him yesterday. I'm like, right, that's it. No more sugar. It's at the house. He goes, what do you mean? Like, no more ice cream for you. And he goes, why? Like, we can go around in circles all day, honey, but it's not happening now. You know, like, sometimes you do pull that. But the amount of people I get in clinic coming in with that story as well, Danny, of like they know their body, like they know something's not right, but they're being told by everyone that it's just anxiety, it's just in their head, or, you know, the blood tests are fine, you know, therefore you're fine. Like, if you are one of those people where that's being said, like, please do not listen to that. Listen to your gut, listen to what's going on in your body. If it doesn't feel right to you, trust that, because that's your biggest asset, realistically. Like, working with people in clinic, when they come in, they go, right, this did not feel right to me. Amazing. That's your body talking to us. That's it giving us the most valuable information that it can, you know, more valuable than testing, because it's coming directly from the source. So it frustrates me when people go in, and today's society, medicine's all about the test results. And yes, they're super important and super helpful, but just don't just rely on those. You know, trust your instincts as well, because you need both. To get a really good outcome, you need both. You can't just rely on one.
Yeah. And would I be right in saying that what the doctors look at in their results and what naturopaths look at, they have different bars, different standards?
Yeah. So the way, definitely, like the way I explain it is, doctors look for the really important stuff in the sense of, are you dying? Is there something really seriously wrong, right? They go to the nth degree, because that's what they're there for. That's what they're trained for. Like, if you get hit by a car, you don't want to see a naturopath. We are not the best person to call. But, you know, if you're looking at things that it's a chronic ongoing illness, or something that's a little bit less severe in the sense of life-threatening, then, you know, we're trained for that a bit more so than what you might find in a GP. Like, we definitely need them. I love working alongside GPs. There's some amazing ones out there, and they're an invaluable asset as well. But, you know, we look at within that reference range, where do you need to be sitting? What symptoms have you got? So say, for example, you're showing signs of, you know, hypothyroidism. But all your levels are coming back fine within the range. We then go, okay, so where in that range are you sitting? Are you sitting a bit more to the lower end or to the higher end? Or like, where's your happy middle ground, rather than what the test says it should be?
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, great. Okay, and number 3.
Okay, right. Yes, so I get distracted. Movement would be my number 3. And I'm sure you'd probably agree with that one.
Move every damn day. That's my motto at the moment.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be anything big. Doesn't have to be going to the gym. Doesn't have to be a workout where your DOMs are all sore the next day. Just walk around the block. You know, play with the dogs, throw a ball, do some stretching, do some yoga. You know, whatever feels good for you. Like, so many people get caught up in I can't exercise because this doesn't work for me, and I played a lot of sport when I was a kid, and now I don't want to do competitive sport. Cool. What do you want to do? How do you want to move your body that feels like it's serving you rather than you serving it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love
yeah.
that. Yep. And I think moving, like, finding things that bring joy to your body, and that it is different for everyone. Like some,
Mm.
these crazy people who run like, 10 kilometers and feel like this sense of freedom. I'm like, they're amazing. That is not me. I will do yoga or walking or weights or
Mhm.
bar class or dance, any of those things I'm
Yeah.
happy to do, or Pilates, that type of thing. But so important to get some sweat happening, right? Because we want to get
Definitely.
some
Just
of that stuff out.
Well, exactly. And just like the lymphatic system is such an underrated system. Like no one talks about it, which really
Yeah,
frustrates me because I think it's so integral.
yeah,
But like the lymphatic system is like your body's detox system that it kind of copies the circulatory system in regards to where it travels throughout the body. But it doesn't have a pump. Like the circulatory system has the heart to move the fluid around the body, whereas the
right,
lymphatic system, the only pump we kind of have there is our muscles. Like it's not the
right,
only one, but it's the primary. So,
yeah,
if you're not getting that contraction and that release in those muscles, you're not
yeah,
going to be able to move that lymphatic fluid back around the body. So therefore your toxins are going to accumulate. And, you look at things like swelling in your ankles and that sort of stuff. A lot
yeah,
of the time it's linked to lymphatic stagnation. So it's such an important thing. Like, you're looking at weight loss, detoxing, basically anything you're working with, you need to get the lymphatic system on board. And the best way to do that is drink your water and do your
yeah.
movement.
And move your body. Yeah. Well, back in
Mm-hmm.
the day when I was about 19, and I trained as a massage therapist.
Yeah.
We did Swedish massage, and then we learned lymphatic drainage. They
Yeah.
were the two that we
Amazing.
learned. So that was a long time ago. So obviously it has been around, but I'm seeing there are different clinics popping up now.
Mm.
Helping people, and lots of self
Yeah.
release, which I've seen some really great things for people to be able to do it for themselves, be able to work through some different
Definitely.
points,
Yeah.
and get that moving, which is great too.
Definitely. The other really cool thing that I found was going between hot and cold showers as well. Oh, my light just went. Now it's all spooky. Oh my goodness. All right, we're going to be doing this in the dark now. That's cool. So the other thing is that like you can do like the hot and cold alternations in the shower. So
Yeah,
that in itself will cause that opening and closing of those vessels as well, because you're like, okay, we're hot, like we got to get the sweat and the fluid out, we're going to get more exposure, so everything kind of opens up. And then when you're cold, you're like, we've got to conserve heat, so everything then tightens and constricts. So
yeah,
it's a really awesome excuse me, it's a really awesome way to kind of also like not artificially, but to very much directly bring on that opening and closing of those valves to get the fluid moving as well.
I haven't been brave enough to do that.
You know what? This is the thing. Everyone makes it up to be this massive thing. And like it's bigger in our heads than it is in reality, because everyone's like, I've got to go in there for 5 minutes and it's going to be freezing cold. I'm like, what are you talking about? Go in there for 10 seconds at the end of your hot shower, put your pinky toe in,
Yeah.
and you've started. Like, all you need
Okay.
to do is start. That's it. Like, and everyone's like, oh, it's got to be the whole body. No. Like, just start with like up to your knees and up to your arms, like your
Okay.
what is this? Elbow crease. That's the one. Just start there.
All right.
Get comfortable with it. Get over the fear of it, and don't make it freezing cold. Like, just go to where it's uncomfortable, and then go, okay, cool, I did a thing. And then
Yeah.
come back the next day and then go a little bit further with the thing. And then, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
build it up so it's something that you're like, okay, cool. How far am I going to push this today? Like,
Yeah.
I do have clients that go for the full body, and I'm like, you're welcome to curse me as you're doing it. I don't mind, because at least that means that's cool. But you know what I mean? Like, if we break these things down again, instead of it being this big, I've got to do everything all at once, and break it down to bite-sized pieces, it suddenly becomes much more manageable.
And having this, like, I think if you go down this road, you have, or one, you either have some sort of health crisis and you're looking for answers, or two, you have a general sense of curiosity about your body and a general sense of like, how does this work? And like challenge yourself, and try new things, try and be the best that you can be. I mean, for me, I'm 47. I want to, because I had, my kids in the last decade, I haven't traveled, I haven't done those things. And I still have this picture of, I think this is old couple in Venice, and they're in a boat, and they're old and they're passed out. They're so tired. And I'm like, I don't want that to be me. I want to, when I have the space and the time to be able to go and travel, I want to be able to climb stairs and squat and pick up things, and, not have heart issues, and, all of those types of things. I want to be well as I age as well.
Yeah. I saw this amazing video, and again, it's, not advocating for this, but we all do it, the Facebook scroll. I saw this amazing woman who decided she was going to start working out at 75. And I'm like, what? How incredible is that at 75, you're like, nah, let's do it. So she is this toned, determined, fit 76-year-old. She's fitter than me. Like, she's got more muscles than me. And and they show the progression over the years for her. And she hits 80, and she's lifting ridiculous amounts of weight and doing all these amazing things in the gym. And I'm sitting there going, oh, I've got no excuse. I'm 25, 26, and this woman is doing this incredible thing. So it's like, it really just proves that the only thing stopping you is your brain, is like your thoughts, is you. So as soon as you decide to make that an asset rather than something holding you back, like, sky's the limit. Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter what you've been through. You can go up from anywhere.
And if people want to unpack that more, like the power of the brain, like Joe Dispenza would be, a fantastic person to go and read, or he's got YouTube channels to go and look at, the power of the mind to heal your body. And that's what he did for himself as well. So I'm sure there are others.
Oh, sorry. The other one I was going to say that I really loved, and again, it's looking at bite-sized pieces, is Atomic Habits. I think Clear, I think it might be. That's brilliant. That changed the game. And especially how I work with clients as well, because it's about like biohacking, if you want to put it that way, but it's about going, cool, like, I want to implement this thing. How can I get my brain to work with me instead of against me on this? So, it's like little bite-sized things you can do there as well. For all the different types of brains out there that work differently, some like checklists, some don't, some, it's very much about finding what works for you again, which I just loved that. That was a game changer for me.
Yeah, great. Atomic Habits. Cool. All right. So in terms of seasonal changes, I mean, we were going to talk about winter wellness, but it took us a while to get together. So I know we're coming into spring. What sorts of things can people be aware of, or what things could they kind of put into their everyday routine to help that transition into spring as we start to blossom and the sun starts to shine? And it's not the hardest transition, because I feel like a lot of people really struggle in winter. Me personally, I think winter into spring is like, oh, thank God it's over. But what are some of the things that you see that you need to support people with around this time?
A lot of it comes down to seasonal allergies. It's the classic hay fever starts kicking in, everyone starts going to the Zyrtec and the Claritine and all that sort of stuff. And then the stomachs start going, because when you use that over a long period of time, it actually reduces your ability to break down your protein. So, it's supporting gut health and looking at diet changes and supplements and things like that we can use to support the body's transition through. One of the biggest, best, most simplest things you can do is just remove dairy from your diet. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the amount of eczema, hay fever, mucus production, colds, flus, all this sort of stuff that then goes down. And a lot of people find that they lose weight as well because of the inflammation. So, and everyone's like, oh, cool, right? Summer's just around the corner. Let's get exercising. Bikini body, here we come, that sort of thing. You've kind of got to, you then need to look at your diet alongside that as well. So that's one of the things I see a lot of. And super little amazing thing that I found is quercetin. Everyone uses it used it for COVID, but awesome for hay fever. Awesome.
Ah, great tip. I think
Yeah.
I've got some of that left from COVID in the cupboard.
There you go. Yeah, so it's like a 500 milligram dose 3 times a day.
Okay.
And you can take it with or without food, depending on how sensitive your tummy is. But yeah, I found it was brilliant for hay fever. I know when I take it, I know when I don't. Let's put it that way.
I might try that with Jet.
Definitely.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when COVID came, we were taking zinc. Was it quercetin?
Yeah.
There were a couple of others. There was like 4 or 5, and we were just like
Going for it.
armoring ourselves with all our vitamin C.
Yeah.
Um,
Vitamin D, black seed
yes,
oil,
yes.
vanilla.
We were
Yeah.
just smashing it. We were like, no, no COVID, no
Not
COVID.
happening. The other thing is as well that I found really cool is there's actually probiotics out there now that you can use for seasonal allergies, which I just think is incredible. Like the scope of probiotics these days, it's just opened up so much. But yeah, like 80% of your immune system resides in your tummy. So, you know, if you haven't got the good and bad bugs kind of sorted and the good ones aren't on your side, you know, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. So they've actually found certain strains that help to modulate the immune system and reduce allergies, which is pretty awesome. So I use that a fair bit.
Be practitioner. You'd need to go and see a practitioner to get
Those ones are practitioner only at this stage, I believe.
Yeah.
If anyone finds any, like shout it out. I'd love to know. But the ones I've found that I've seen work are practitioner only, unfortunately.
Yeah. And a friend of mine who's she trained as a doctor and a naturopath, and she said to me, I get so angry when I go like to the shops or whatever. She would test a lot of the ones that you can get in the supermarket. And she got the Yakult, and she said, I put it under my microscope and there's nothing happening. She goes, when you're taking this, you should be able to see the little, everything moving around. And there's nothing. And so people think, I'm doing the right thing. I can get that at the supermarket and I'm looking after myself. Yeah. And it's just really a bit of yogurt that you're sucking that.
Expensive. Sorry, that sounds really bad.
No, it's true.
It is and like there is a reason, like everyone asks, like, why is there a practitioner only products? What's the difference? The difference between them is that they go through much more rigorous testing and standard control. So these companies out there, and some are better than others, even in the practitioner only range, but there is a reason that they're practitioner only. Their dosages are often higher or they're better quality, so you need less of. So a lot of the time as well, the herbs that we're using, they're not just things that won't give you side effects. You can get side effects from herbs. You can do damage with herbs. You can do damage with nutrients. So a lot of the time, if you're working at high doses or with specific herbs for specific conditions, it is important to have someone with that knowledge on your side, because otherwise you can risk doing some damage. So that's probably the biggest difference, is the quality, the testing. There is the other thing as well is constituents. So extra things that companies put in the supplements to either like make them easier to pour, for marketing reasons, to bulk the supplement up, to, for money reasons, all this sort of stuff. So there's a lot more to it than this is just a vitamin C tablet. It's, what else is in there? Why is it in there? What dose is it in there of, what type of vitamin C is it? You can keep going with it, but there is a reason there are different qualities.
Yeah. And I've been guilty of this too, that I will think, I'll take this supplement and I'll take this, and I have a range of different things, and just like, try a bit of that. And really, you need somebody to have a look at what you're taking, actually see whether you need it or not. And also like, how's your absorption going, and what, I know my mum, she was taking like all these supplements, but she was having a really bad, she just wasn't absorbing things because her gut was so messed up. And it was like, you're just basically like throwing that money down the toilet if you're not absorbing.
You literally are. Yeah, sometimes it's really amazing how much of that actually happens. So I don't know, for me, one of the foundational things I'll do in clinic is gut testing, because you know, so much of what happens around the body is like based on, you know, your gut health. And if you're not absorbing and you're not breaking down your nutrients properly, like why would you bother supplementing at that point? You're just wasting your money. So again, like it can seem like a more cost efficient way to go to the supermarket or the health food store and buy your own supplements. And I'm not against it, but I just think it's always worth knowing your body and understanding where it's at before doing that, because otherwise you could just be wasting your money. Like, you know, you'd be better off seeing someone because you know exactly what you're meant to be taking, how you're meant to be taking it. You know, it's very individual. And we've all done it. You know, we'll go, oh, we'll give this a go. We'll see how it happens. You know, naturopaths are probably the worst because we're like, oh, we're educated. It's fine. You know, so it's, you know, everyone does it. It's just being aware of your body and where it's at when you do it. Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to say was that when I saw you, it might have been, I think we were living in the unit, so a couple of years ago, I saw you and you gave me this amazing herbal concoction for period pain.
Oh, and God, I was like, now.
Oh, I just want people to know that there are other things out there that you can take that's not going to take a toll on your liver, like Panadol or Nurofen or those types of things. And so many people living with pelvic pain and period pain or going through those sort of transitions that there are other things. And I actually thought, I don't know whether this is going to like cut it or not. But it really, really did. It really took that nasty edge off those pains on the first day. So, and I'm expecting now that because I'm reducing inflammation in my body, that I'm going to have that even more sorted. So,
absolutely,
I think. Just to open that up, Rachel's your girl. She can't remember what she gave me, but she'll work now.
It'll be some kind of herb somewhere. I need to go find it for me, actually, I think. Oh, God, now I was trying to put the brightness up just to see if I can be a bit more than a ghost in here somewhere. But, yeah, no, it's definitely, and this is the thing, I think we've normalized period pain a lot as a society. It's like, you know, that thing you talk about with your girlfriends and you kind of go, oh, who's got the worst period pain and, you know, who's taking what medication for it and you're on the pill and all that sort of stuff. But period pain is a symptom of something else underlying. It's not what should be the normal. It's not the healthy normal for your body. It might be normal for you. It might be normal for a lot of other people, but normal isn't always good. So we've kind of standardized it and made it normal rather than going, oh, there's something here to explore. There's something else going on. So it's the same with PMS. You know, a lot of women think that they have to kind of just put up with being a different person for 1 to 2 weeks of the month because that's just how it is. That's just the lot that you get as a woman. And it really frustrates me that people settle for that because they don't know any better, because as society, we haven't spoken about it. So that's the other thing I really want to speak into. And it will change as you go through your life as well, like with perimenopause, right? I'm sure you've kind of started feeling the effects of that with the emotions and PMS and that sort of stuff as well. It's not something that is stagnant. It's dynamic as you go along, and you'll need different things at different stages of your life as well. So that's something that I'm quite passionate about as well, is bringing awareness to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like as a society, we're just starting on that precipice of opening things up. Like there's been lots of talk about how medications and trials and studies were done on men and not on women. Women were just treated as small emotional men, and we had so a lot of things haven't been tested for the female body, which is like actually horrific.
It's ridiculous. Like I was speaking to, there was someone else speaking to that just started on HRT, and they're basically guessing with what they're doing there because they haven't got the funding to go and do the trials that they need to substantiate the treatment. So they're going, well, you know, it's not covered on PBS a lot of the time as well. They're just going, well, we'll see how we go. And I just think that's outrageous because you think about how much of the population that is going through that. We're living longer than we ever have before. Women are suffering with this for longer because realistically, we weren't meant to live much longer past 50, really. Like we've done our job, genetically speaking. We've had kids, we've continued that. We're meant to, that's it, you're good now, you're gone. So there's so much research that needs to be happening in that space, but the funding it's lackluster, unfortunately. So
yeah, lots of I'm seeing lots of things at school where they had a pelvic pain presentation, and they did it for all the boys as well, and
I love that.
It was quite cute. Like, I looked in the window and there's all these boys. They gave them like notepads, and they're all sitting there writing about pelvic pain. And I was like, that is like actually culture changing. That is something.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that's happening in schools. That makes me so happy. That is incredible. Oh, yay! I've been given hope. Thank you. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm just conscious of time. Rach, you have a very generous offer for our Move to Rise group. What would you like to talk about or invite?
No, so I'd love to give anyone that if anyone feels like they would like a consult, I'd love to give them 20% off. And I'm also encourage anyone that wants to have a chat, just reach out. I'm more than happy to have a chat with anyone.
Yeah, so through Sacred Naturopathy?
Yeah, through Sacred Naturopathy, yes. So that's an Instagram page and also a Facebook page as well. So you're welcome to message me or reach out there. My website, I believe, also has contact details. So that one's just www.sacrednaturopathy.com.au. So there's heaps of information on there as well, a bit more about my backstory, and what I like to focus in, kind of spread out there, looking all pretty. But yeah, so it's just if anyone feels like they need to have a chat as well, if they're going through something and needs to know that someone gets where they're at, I'm more than happy to have a chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you're based in Grange or Henley Beach?
So I'm in a couple of different places at the moment. So I am currently I'm on Henley Beach Road in Mile End on Wednesday afternoons. And then I'm also out in Evandale at a clinic called AF Health on Thursday and Friday afternoons. And then I do online consults around that as well.
Evandale. Where's that? I don't know where that is.
That's kind of, if you go McGill Road and you hit Portrush Road and you go left.
Okay.
Kind of like past the spotlight there, if I put it that way. So yeah, it's kind of like eastish. Yeah, northeast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sparky. I think that's my call for the well, thank you so much, Rach, for jumping on, and it's just been a pleasure to watch you, oh my goodness, heal yourself and go on your journey. I've literally sort of watched in the sidelines as you have transformed as a young person, and taking your passion to help other people. It's really inspiring. Sparky.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I will put some links and stuff in the group for people to have a look and get in contact with you. But highly recommend Rach, and look after yourself. Be curious about your body, and give yourself bite-sized chunks.
Definitely. Thank you.
Moving, drop the sugar, and water.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. All
right, well, enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you soon.
Absolutely, I will find you somewhere.
All right. See ya. Bye.